Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here, back with a new movie. The name of this movie is What If Naruto Was One of the Legendary Sannins? And yeah guys, it's a Naruto X all of the Sannin ship, meaning, well, Orochimaru and Jiraiya are going to be females in this one. And Naruto is going to be their age as well. And it's an unscripted movie, and before continuing this, I would like to thank you guys for suggesting so many ideas. I have taken them into considerations and written them down on my diary and will be working on them. Hey, how about I put a poll today and you guys decide for which series I work on first? Okay, and yeah guys, if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And without further ado, let's begin with our story. Our story begins at the end of the Great Shinobi War, second one, and the fall of Tobirama Senju. Now, the young Hiruzen Sarutobi was the third Hokage, as they were returning after fighting the battle and returning victorious. Many of the shinobis have already returned, and Hiruzen and his comrades, his teammates and his rival Danzo were the one to return at last after helping those who were in need from their village and allies' village. As they were returning, a little far away from their village, they heard crying of an infant child. What is this noise coming from? Danzo said. It's a crying of a child, Danzo, Koharu said with a deadpan. But why would a child cry here? Unless their eyes widened as they rushed towards where the child was crying. And what they saw shook them to their core. There was a woman lying there, next to the child, breathing her last breaths. She was stabbed, brutally. Koharu covered her mouth with both hands. It was still disgusting and disturbing to see a mother like this. In all her shinobi life, she had seen many deaths, but this was the most disturbing one. As they got near her, "Ma'am, are you okay?" The woman had red hair and an Uzumaki crest. Danzo said, "She's an Uzumaki. She's an ally. We have to retrieve her to the village," said Hamura. "It's too late. Protect him," she said in pain. "Ma'am, don't talk. You're in pain. We are going to rescue you and your child. It is safe now. We are from your allied village, Konoha. His name is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. We get it. Now please just calm down and let us help you." As Hiruzen picked her up in her arms, as Koharu picked up the child, she passed away. "It's late," Danzo said. "What?" "It's too late. She's dead." As all of them sighed, their eyes closed as they buried her inside Konoha, and her name as an unknown Uzumaki was engraved on the stone as Uzumaki-san, found in the woods. A mother and her child, Naruto Uzumaki, well, he was still at Koharu's side as Hiruzen was announced as the third Hokage, and Konoha was announced of his victory, but at the loss of their comrades and their allies, the Uzumakis, and their beloved second Hokage, Tobirama Senju. They all mourned for their lost ones and loved ones and their Hokage. And after the mourning, it was time for them to recover and come back as strong. As they were inside the council chambers, all alone. "Well, Hamura, Koharu, I want you two to be my advisors. And Danzo, I'm going to give you a seat in the council so that I can get your opinions as well. That is all well and good, but what are we going to do with this child?" "Well, all we can do is now to place him in an orphanage." "Yes, it is the sad truth, but he has to go there." Koharu and everyone else over time had grown, well, close to Naruto. Even Danzo himself was close to Naruto, but he wouldn't admit it. Well, it was sad to see him go there, but it was the only option and the right option in their mind, and that's what they did. They still visited him though, separately, so that the other wouldn't find out. And whenever it was the day they found, reduced as his birthday, to visit him and give him a gift, because he was an infant at the time. Naruto was in an all-women's orphanage, and, well, he was the first male there, and they were all pampering him. Even the girls there was pampering him. There was other child who was a woman. Her name was Jiraiya, which was named by none other than the orphanage matriarch herself. As they grew, they were treated as together, siblings, and always stuck together. And they became the childhood sweethearts in the eyes of the orphanage. Much to Naruto's dismay, Naruto was obviously, knucklehead and oblivious to this, but Jiraiya still had whole feelings for him because Naruto rescued her in the playground from bullying, and she from that on moment had started to develop feelings for her friend, her best friend, more so of a brother. But now she wanted him to be her lover. But it was still too early for her because she was a 5-year-old child. And in the playground they met with another orphan child named Orochi. She was from another orphanage in Konoha. They played together there and became friends. And people used to mistreat her because of her pale figure and coloring. But Naruto said that she was pretty, which caused her to blush and develop some feelings for him as well. Once she asked what Naruto wanted to be, he proclaimed that he wanted to be a shinobi, a strong one, and not only that, he wanted to surpass all the Hokages and become one. It was all instilled by the old man. He told him the stories of heroic Hokages and shinobis. That is why Naruto was like this, and he told his friends about the stories that his old awesome Oji-chan told. And they also were intrigued and wanted to become shinobi because of him. They met with other children, and they also met with a senju. One of the senjus and her grandmother, who was an Uzumaki. Once she found out that there was an Uzumaki child in orphanage from Hiruzen, she wanted to meet him, but once she got an address of the orphanage told that he was in the playground, and that is why she brought Tsunade here. And once she saw Naruto, she knew that he was an Uzumaki. But she was surprised to see a blonde one and with blue eyes. She deduced that the mother had married outside the clan. It was common that Uzumaki married the one who they loved, and it was rarely that they loved outside the clan. But it did happen before, and it was not surprising to see a child with characteristics different from the Uzumaki. As she introduced, "Hello little guppies, meet Tsunade Senju, my granddaughter. I hope you all can be friends. Now Tsunade, go ahead and introduce. Tsunade Senju here, as my grandmother said. Naruto Uzumaki, nice to meet ya." An Uzumaki? But your hair is blonde. How can you be an Uzumaki? I don't know. But Oji-chan said my mother was an Uzumaki before she passed away. Yes, he is an Uzumaki, Tsunade-chan. That is not a right way to say that he's not who he is just because he has different hair color. You have red hair. So are you an Uzumaki as well, ma'am? Yes, I'm Mito Uzumaki. And grandmother to Tsunade Senju over here. Awesome! It's awesome to meet a family member. Yes, you can always visit me. I live in Senju compound with Tsunade and our little brother Nawaki and some of the other Senjus there. Can I? Yes, obviously you can. As then Jiraiya introduced herself and Orochi as well. And they all became good friends and always got into trouble as well because Naruto's tendency of pranking and Jiraiya's peeping on women to write down disgusting novels that she wanted to write. Since, it was her childhood dream to become a writer in pornography. It was kind of disturbing to Naruto and their other friends, but they supported her a little bit, even if it was weird because it was their friend's dream. Time went on and they entered the academy and they aced it all. Jiraiya was still the dead last, but they didn't bother her because Naruto always supported her, even when Orochimaru and Tsunade teased her of this. Naruto was there for her, which pissed off Tsunade and Orochimaru to no end because Naruto was pampering her in their opinion, and Jiraiya was taking all of Naruto's attention away from them. It was not fair in their opinion. As time went by, and due to Mito's persuasion, Hiruzen had to agree to apprentice her granddaughter, and not only that, he wanted to apprentice Naruto as well because he grew attached to the boy. And due to these standards, the top Konoichi, the male one, and the Red Lost had to be together, so Jiraiya was also joining the band. They formed a team. It was unstable, well, at first because they failed the bell test, mainly because of Jiraiya's willingness not to work with the others, and she was tied to the post. Naruto was the first one to fed her, and the rest of them joined in, because they knew to be able to pass they needed Jiraiya at full potential. And Hiruzen was seeing this from Tree, well, past them all, after telling them a few words of advice. Those who abandon comrades are trash, but those who abandon their comrades to death and mission are worse than trash. I kinda said it wrong way, but you understand what I was trying to say, right? Anyway, on to our story. And they took it to heart, and started to train together and went on D-rank missions. Some funny ones and some cool ones. And the worst one was their last D-rank mission is to hunt down the demon cat Tora. God knows how long that cat could live. Anyways, as it was their first C-rank mission, they were sent to Iwagakure to deliver a scroll. And they went there. It was kind of disturbing, but because they encountered many scary and sociopath shinobi who wanted to, well, rape little girls, Naruto became enraged and his chakra chains were unlocked. And he stabbed the men straight through their assholes and the chains came out of their mouth. A painful death. Naruto vomited after that, and Hiruzen reassured him that he wasn't able to control his powers. It was new and he unlocked it. After some training it will be done, but he wasn't sad about that. He was sad that he had to kill, even if he was a psychopath. Well, his teammates and his sensei reassured them that he did this because he wanted to protect his teammates. And it was good. And Naruto agreed. He still couldn't shake off the bad feelings after killing it, but he knew he had to live with it. And the mission was a success. After delivering the scroll, they returned. Time went on and it was time for Chunin exams. They entered it and it went as in canon, but the only difference was there was no Orochimaru to attack. But a village did attack. It was Kumo who launched an attack on Konoha, or tried to launch an attack. Well, the Genins fought hard, and after following their sensei's hand seal, which he used to summon Monkey King Enma, they were able to summon surprisingly as well. Because of Orochimaru's idea, Orochimaru summoned a snake named Manda. Jiraiya was able to summon Gamabunta, a toad. Tsunade was able to summon a slug named Katsuyu, and Naruto, well, was able to summon nine-tailed golden fox, similar to that of Kyuubi but yet different. She had blue eyes. And yep, Naruto was standing at top of the head respective to the other, well, summons as well and their summoners. As all of the summons turned towards her, Inari-sama, what are you doing here? All of them said, I don't know. As she looked up, child, are you the one who summoned me? Yes, ma'am. She chuckled. No need to say me and call me ma'am. You can call me Inari. Inari-sama then. Well, you are my summoner, so I guess that will be enough. So, what is the problem? Well, we saw our sensei doing it, so we did it, and you were summoned. I see. So you are our summoners. Chosen one by fate, I guess. She said, and everyone else nodded as they all looked at their summoners. The rest of the summoners were surprised as well. And the rest of the, well, attackers were frozen, and so were the protectors. They were surprised that four Chunins were able to gain summon, and it looked like they were all legendary summons as well, as they all retreated. Kuma retreated. Konoha became victor of this battle, and Konoha Crush was stopped again. After their summoning contract, they all were chosen by their respective summon as their first summoners. And after this, they were given, instead of Chunin, Jonin titles, and were sent on a journey on their own to train with their summons, and hence they were summoned to their summoning realm, where they stayed for 3 years. After 3 years, they all returned, Orochimaru now could enter the Snake Sage mode and could summon three-headed legendary Snake Sage. And as for Tsunade, she had gained the mark of 100 healings. That when she left, there were scrolls that her grandmother gave her. And after she returned, she became the best medic in the world. And as for Jiraiya, she still had a long way to go, but she became a strong Sannin as well. She could use Senjutsu Chakra as well. Plus, she needed help of the two sages as well, which are Fukusaka and Shima. But as for Naruto, once he returned, he had two swords, a Firefox sword and a gunblade that looked like a nine-tailed fox. It was a customary weapon to be carried and to learn for fox summoners, as Inari told him. And he was accepted by the fox, and once he entered the Fox Sage mode, he could sense and see through in night. He could see through miles ahead. His hearing became more vigilant, his nose became more sensitive. He had fangs grown. His body was erupted with chakra. He had like KCM chakra but with red color. His eyes became slit-like in cross. And there was orange, pigments around his eyes. He became more fast, more strong, more destructive. His sage mode was more dangerous. As after their return, they were tested by their sensei and deduced as the Sannins of Konoha. And after that, the Third Great War broke out, and they were all sent to fight in Amegakure, where the war was erupting from. Hanzo the Salamander was the cause. During the time, they all had grown close, and the girls confessed their loves to Naruto. It was kind of surprising that it did happen and occurred, but Naruto was happy and returned their feelings. All they did was kiss at the time, but it was enough for him and them. As they were now in battle against Hanzo himself after defeating his goons and enemies, they had to lay down so many bodies to get to him. But after they reached there, Hanzo was waiting. He was a sage of the salamanders. As the battle broke out, 4 Sannins were battling against him, and that is when they gained the title of the legendary Sannins of Konoha. It spread throughout the world soon after their victory. But at what cost? As soon as they all thought that Hanzo had fallen, Naruto was panting heavily because he was the one who used the Sage mode more. And his Sage mode was destructive. That is why it was taking a toll on him. As for the girls, they were standing behind. Naruto, are you okay? Tsunade said, as she was trying to use healing senjutsu. As she was done, Naruto got up. I'm fine now. The Sage mode was closed. As they were about to walk out, Hanzo got out. In a last ditch of effort, he shot his sword that had a chain attached to it. It was aiming at Tsunade, but Naruto got ahead, and it pierced through him, impaling him completely. The sword was laced with poison, so intense that it shut down his organs. The poison spread throughout his body when the blade came in contact with his skin. As he got on his knees, blood came out of his mouth. The girl was frozen in shock. Then there was anger, as they launched all kinds of attacks on, Hanzo, killing him completely, as Naruto was there on his knees, still sword impaling him. As the girl was crying, "Don't just stand there, help him," Orochi said to Tsunade, who nodded and got to the healing. After Jiraiya pulled out the sword, "It's too late. I'm not going to make it," he said. "No, you are going to make it. Just please stay still. Let us heal you." "No, girls, I'm sorry. I hope there was more time for us. But I guess there isn't. I have only one request though. Anything, please. Just don't die," they all said, as they were all sad. if I don't make it back to Konoha, just bury me there, okay? Next to my mother. Sensei know where she lays. That is all I ask. As they all cried, shedding tears harder, and they put Naruto's body in a preserving sealing scroll. As after it was done, they returned because Naruto has breathed his last breath in the arms of his loved ones. They all were crying and devastated. And once they returned, there were celebrations, but they all came to a pause when they saw there were only 3 of them returning. When the Hokage, who was at front, asked what happened to Naruto, he had a dreadful feeling, and so did the others. Well, the girls informed by opening a scroll as Naruto's body lay there. Hiruzen shed a tear because he had grown to see Naruto as his son, and same could be said for Koharu, Hamura, and, well, Danzo. It was sad to see such a young life die who had impact on not only them, but the rest of the village. He will be buried next to his mother. He wanted that. It was his dying wish. Orochi choked after saying this. As Hiruzen shed some more tears, it will be done, he said. As he turned around and walked away, the villagers moved away to give way for their Hokage as the girls sealed Naruto's body again so that their fallen hero could be buried. After 1 hour it was held, Naruto's funeral was held, as he was buried next to his mother as per his wishes. After getting out of the preserved sealing scroll, and everything, well, went to hell after that, Orochimaru became distant. She became obsessed with immortality. She sealed away her emotions. Tsunade, well, she became addicted to alcohol and gambler. Jiraiya left to start her, well, spy network for Konoha. The truth was she was running away from Konoha, which haunted her of her beloved's memories. And as for Danzo, he then and there thought that emotions were a waste of time. He shut them out completely, rebuilt his root from scratch as mindless drones. On the other hand, Koharu and Hamura, they also changed a bit. Danzo, he became older. Time passed by and, well, Jiraiya decided to return to Konoha after the prophecy from the sage Toad. And once he returned, he found another orphan. She found another orphan. His name was Minato Namikaze, a potentially prodigy kid, and she trained him. He was the second Toad sage. Tsunade didn't bother to return. She went away. After her brother's death, Orochimaru became rogue after it was discovered that she was doing illegal experiments on criminals, I might say, but it was still illegal because it wasn't informed by Hokage. She defected, and Danzo became more secretive. Hiruzen grew older and sadder. And as for Hamura and Koharu, they still all visited his grave, Naruto's grave, whenever they had time, but it was sad. And it always pained them to see such a happy and joyful person so still and quiet. Whenever they asked a question, he wouldn't answer back. They missed his laugh, his voice, because he had an impact on all of their lives. That is why Jiraiya wrote a story in the name of our beloved, the tale of a gutsy ninja. His main character was Naruto, who was a hero and a heartbreaker. Well, she couldn't get rid of her tendencies of a pervert, but still, it was a story dedicated to him. It was popular amongst Konoha, and she gave a copy to her student as well after he was trained and the Third War broke out. It was quite devastating. But her student, her light in this darkness of world that she was managed to found, died. Well, sorry, not died, he killed and became more bright. I meant to say that. I kind of got mixed up. Anyway, on to the story. And he found love as well. And once the couple knew they were going to be parents, they announced her as the godmother. She was happy. And once she found out that they're going to name their child Naruto, she was happy even more and sad, and reminded of her beloved. And once again, tragedy struck at the night of his birth. They had a son named Naruto. He lost his parents as well. Hiruzen became much older, but Naruto became a new Jinchuriki. They all knew that he was similar to their Naruto because of his tendencies as he grew of ranking, and well, the truth was still there. He was still Jinchuriki, so Danzo didn't grow closer because he was afraid that he might die. He might open up to emotions again, and he might get hurt again. He didn't want to suffer those emotions again. Time went on, and Naruto goes to become a strong and potential full Genin. And not only that, he was enlisted on Team 7 as well. Fate was so cruel, as the elders saw that it was repeating. He was quite attached to his teammates as well, becoming a balance between them. On one side was the last Uchiha Sayuri. On the other side was Sakura Haruno. Both of the girls always fought with each other because Sayuri was a deadbeat avenger and Sakura was, well, Sakura, a bookworm. And Naruto was always the peacekeeper. He was still an intelligent child, like their Naruto, a prodigy. And their sensei was Kakashi, who also looked up to Naruto, and, well, Naruto saw him as an older brother figure. Time went on and they went on from D-rank missions, the same one as their Naruto went by. The same last mission to capture the demon cat. The people, well, still saw him as a demon, but that was what they don't saw in him. They saw their Naruto living through him. And then came the Chunin exams after the wave arc. They heard what happened and Naruto became a hero there. They were happy. Even Danzo was, but he knew it wasn't their Naruto that they rescued and came to love. But still, they couldn't just be intrigued and interested in this Naruto because not only his name, but his appearance was similar to him and his actions as well, and personality. And like, well, his other students and Naruto, both of the girls developed feelings for him and were sticking to him like glue. Kakashi was happy for his sensei's son / his student about this. He was a womanizer, and not only that, he was a kind soul as well. Hinata, once she found this out, was sad, but she also got courage and confessed her feelings to Naruto. And Naruto was quite surprised by this. But she talked to the girls because he was returning their feelings now after they confessed after, well, their wave mission. And they said, well, he should return because he was nice enough to. And the three of the girls started to date Naruto. It was all over their Naruto again. It was repeating itself. The past was repeating itself. Fate was cruel. They knew that this was not their Naruto, but, well, why was he so similar to him? Well, they left it at that, and time went on, and Chunin exams occurred. Naruto saved them again, with the help of, well, Jiraiya, who returned and trained him and made him the next summoner of the Toads. Well, surprisingly enough, that was the only difference here. Their Naruto was the summoner of foxes, while this Naruto was summoner of frogs and toads. They battled against the one-tailed Shikaku and defeated him. And not only that, when Orochimaru attacked and was about to kill their sensei, she was stopped by the spirit of one person she respected and loved. Still, he was looking at her with sadness as he shook his head. No. Tears started to well up. Well, she wasn't the only one who saw this. Hiruzen saw this as well and stopped as he said, Naruto. Hello, Sensei. Hello, Orochi-chan. What are you doing? This isn't you. Please stop this. After saying this, he said, I miss you all. And he vanished. Orochimaru stopped. Damn it. You're lucky, Sensei, he arrived, she said, as tears started to burst through her eyes. As she said, dropped the barrier for leaving. As they did so, and she was retreating, Hiruzen said, Orochimaru, please return. As he said, this isn't you. This isn't what he wanted. No, Sensei. This is what I want. This isn't what he wants. She returned back, still shedding some tears. And Konoha Crush was at hold. Months later, the Tsunagakure found their Kazekage's dead body and apologized to Konoha. And Naruto, in some people's perspective, was hailed as not Kyuubi, just a normal genin, and the one who saved them all. It was still hard to admit that the kid they saw as a demon was not a demon, well, just a jailer. Now it was evident. And, well, Naruto's worries decreased, and as time went by, the Akatsuki Threat became more evident. And once Jiraiya was killed, Naruto was set on a journey to become the next Toad Sage and Senjutsu Master, similar to that of a Sannin. After 1 month of rigorous training, he returned to what looked like a molten blob. Sayuri and Sakura were beaten and lying there as they both yelled Naruto. As Naruto arrived on Toads and fought down Akatsuki's leader, Pain. The other Akatsuki members, well, some of them were dead, but some were still out there alive. Hiruzen was still there, but he was impaled and dying because of pain. Tsunade wasn't back in village. Jiraiya, well, Naruto had sent a clone to search for his body, and his clone has found her body and returned. And as the clone returned, it dropped the body back where it belonged, to the morgue. He was sad, but he disappeared, and during the fight, Naruto's clone's memories returned to him. He was sad, but he beat down every pain with the help of Senjutsu. The original Pain, he tracked him down and taught no jutsu to him. Pain was convinced of his wrongdoings and used his jutsu, Rinne Tensei Rinne Rebirth, as the soul of those who died returned. But not only that, 2 more souls returned that day as well, as one shot into a morgue and another went to a gravesite. As Jiraiya woke up, as she coughed up a bit of blood and water, her wounds healed. As she said, what is going on? I am sure I died at the hands of Nagato. What is going on here? She still trained Nagato, Konan, and Yahiko, but later on, as she was in self-exile from the village. As she got out and saw the village was in destruction, she could sense a huge amount of power. As she went there and saw that her sensei was fine, but he had an impaling mark. Sensei! Jiraiya! But how? I don't know, but I'm here. As the people who have fallen all got up, as they saw Kakashi bringing out Naruto from the forest, as they all cheered for him. But then, they saw a huge chakra signature erupting from the graveside. The shinobis became alert, all of them, and rushed to their side of the chakra eruption, as they saw it was coming from a knowing grave. It can't be. Don't do you think that he might be? Who knows? As the grave was bursted open, as a figure got out, still the same looking as he was the day he died. What the hell? What is going on? Why was I buried 6 feet underground, inside a wooden coffin? He said as he was still in a burial robes. And why am I wearing these clothes? What is going on? As he looked at his sensei, who was grown old. Old man? Naruto, is that you? Hey old man, I'm still here. Who's this guy? Well, he's Naruto. You were named after him, said Hiruzen. I see. Another Naruto. Nice to meet ya. Name's Naruto Uzumaki. Shut the door. My name is Naruto Uzumaki as well. This is quite weird. Are we related? Naruto said. What do you mean? Well, the canon, Naruto said. I mean, you look like me, and not only that, the only difference is that you have 3 whisker marks on your cheeks. I can change that. As he entered, the fox said jutsu mode and he had 3 whisker marks. See, I do have those marks now. Awesome, as Kurama spoke as he took over Naruto's body. How do you have this power? This is the Senjutsu chakra and power wielded by my wife's clan. You have a wife? Who are you? I'm Kyuubi no Kitsune. You mean like the Biju, the Nine-Tailed, the strongest demon? Yes. He beat his thumb and did some hand seals, and a large puff of smoke Inari appeared. Who summoned me? As he said, Hello Inari-sama, it's me, Naruto. How have you been? Naruto, but it's impossible. As she took out the scroll, in a puff of smoke, the scroll appeared in her hand as she saw Naruto's name, which has vanished and became almost invisible, became more visible and darker. You are right. You came back, but how? I don't know. I just got out. And there's a Kyuubi no Kitsune who wants to talk to you. As she looked at the cubified Naruto, Kurama, you have a lot of explaining to do. I'm sorry, honey, but I was just outside and that accursed Uchiha took control over me, and the next thing I knew, I was sealed inside of an Uzumaki. You deserve it. You could have told where you were when you were leaving. But no, you all in your arrogance and your powerful blockheadness thought that you were powerful enough to look after yourself. And now look where you are. I'm sorry, honey. How is our daughter, Yukihime? She's good, but she's mad about when you were, disappearing. About your disappearing, she's pretty mad and thinks that you left us. I'm sorry, just apologize on my behalf to her. Well, I guess I can do that. And it's good to have you back, Naruto. It's good to be back, Inari-sama, as he got down. Well, as he looked at Jiraiya. Wow, Jiraiya, you look older. As she grew a tick mark and bonked him on the head and hugged him. Baka. We thought we lost you, as she then kissed him in front of everyone. As the Naruto Jr., I'm going to call him Naruto Jr., yelled and called out, help! Help him! My sensei is a pedophile! Wait, his sensei? As he then started to cry. Jiraiya sensei, but I thought you died. As, after getting together with her Naruto, she got near her student, Naruto Jr. Well, Naruto, I somehow became alive once I woke up in the morgue. Well, my clone brought you here. I didn't want you to be drowning at the lake in Amegakure, so I sent my clone there. Once I got your location from Fukusaka-sama. I see. So you became a sage, huh? Yeah, I trained hard. Good, I'm proud of you. So, where are Tsunade and Orochimaru? As, he was inside, and so did Jiraiya. It's a long story. Well, I'm back. We'll tell you later. I see. As he met with some other familiar faces who looked old. Hello, Danzo Oji-chan. Amiraoji-chan, Koharu-ba-chan, how are you all? He said with a smile as he hugged them, one by one. They were still shocked as they smiled then, and every other shinobi, Ananbu, and even the younger generation of ninjas were creeped out by Danzo smiling and looking at lovingly at this young man. It's good to have you back, Naruto. But how though? Well, I don't know. The time I woke up, I was inside a coffin, 6 feet underground. It's really not a pleasant feeling, and it's quite, he shivered, disturbing. I'd rather not talk about it. Well, you don't have to, honey, Koharu said. The good thing is that you're back. Yeah, you better believe it. As then he looked at the village. So, we have a lot of repairing to do. As they all sighed, yes, we have. So, are you going on active duty again? Asked, well, Jiraiya. Well, obviously I am. This is my home, and it is my duty to protect it. Isn't that right, Oji-chan? As all of them just chuckled and said, yes, it is in your nature to help your village. And you do still want to become Hokage, right? Yeah, but I think that I'm not prepared yet. How so? Hiruzen asked, as everyone else was quite intrigued and wanted to know his answer. Well, I am still inexperienced, and I don't think I am at full power yet. I still need to, well, train because I have been there for how long? Well, about 30 years or so. Damn, that long? I still look the way I did the day, I got impaled. As they all grimaced at the memory of seeing Naruto's corpse and the wound mark deep inside his chest. It still feels weird though. That blade was so poisonous that it killed me instantly. It came in contact with my skin, but I was alive due to my Senjutsu chakra and Tsunade-chan healing me. Hey, that reminds me. Why don't we go and get her back? Obviously we need her because there are a lot of injured ones here. Naruto, I don't think she is going to return. Well, she has no other choice. I'm going to bring her back one way or another. Well, I guess you can try. Come on, Jiraiya-chan, we have a mission. As she mock saluted and said, hi, sir. As the both of them went to get Tsunade the next hour. As they went, Jiraiya showed Naruto her spy network. He was quite surprised and pleased and even complimented her on this. And as they went, Jiraiya tried to, get into his pants, but Naruto told her unless he gathered all of them together and married them properly, he wasn't going to take the next step. So she had to resort to just sleeping with him in bed, fully clothed, and hugging him. But she was happy though. He returned back to her, even after 30 years, but still, as they got from town to town, and in the third town known as the Tanabata town, they were tired. They still couldn't find her out. Then Jiraiya spoke. I'm tired. Why don't we go on a drink? Come on, Jiraiya-chan, you know that it is serious. We can always drink later. Well, I want to drink. You still are, 18, so... And you didn't have your first drink yet, right? I don't remember us going to bar. Well, yeah, I kind of died before my first drink. She grimaced again, and Naruto had a blush on his face because of the embarrassment. Well, you're going to have your first drink now. As they entered, they saw a familiar face. As Jiraiya then said, Tsunade! Jiraiya? She said. As then she saw someone familiar next to her eyes widened. As then it narrowed as she stomped her way to them. As she picked Naruto up with both her hands, as she then said, what kind of bullshit is this? As she then yelled, Kai! It didn't do anything. She yelled again, releasing a huge burst of chakra. Kai! It didn't do anything. She released so much chakra that the glasses and the bottles there cracked. And Naruto then said, Suchan, it's me, Naruto. I really am back. Tears started to well up as she hugged him close. Naruto was in heaven because he was inside huge knockers. As he then said, "Can't breathe, Tsunade-chan, please." As Jiraiya got a tick mark and as she pulled Naruto away from her. "Leave him alone. Are you going to kill him again by suffocating him inside those melons?" As she smirked. "You're just jealous you don't have these. I'm just blessed by the heaven." As Jiraiya grew another tick mark. As then Naruto said, "Please girls, calm down. There is another one present here." As Naruto then said, "Sorry about them. Please introduce yourself." "I'm Shizune Kato. And I'm apprentice of Tsunade-sama." "Huh, Tsunade-chan, you got an apprentice?" As she then smiled. "Yes, I did. I met Jiraiya's apprentice. His name was Naruto Uzumaki as well, and he kind of looked like me though." "Really?" "Yeah, he's back in Konoha. He's hailed as a hero now, and he's the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi no Kitsune," Naruto said, as Tsunade was quite intrigued by this. And then she asked, "So, Naruto, what are you doing here?" "Well, why wouldn't I be here? I have to bring back my fiancée." As she then said, "Really?" "Yeah. Did you think I would just leave you alone by yourself to drown in your sorrows? I don't think so, Tsunade. You have just hurt yourself enough, and this is why I am here to bring you back. So please, come back to the village. The village needs you. I need you." As she then said, "But I'm scared. What would I do if you disappeared again?" "I promise I won't. Not this time. I'll be careful." "You better be, or else I will kill you in afterlife." "You know it is impossible." "I don't care. I will kill you. I will find a way." Yes, ma'am," Naruto said with a gulp. As both of the Sannins returned back to Konoha. As they were returning, they encountered Kabuto. Well, he was surprised to see the two legendary Sannins returning back to, Konoha's direction, but there was a man with them. He was calling them like he was similar to their age. He looked young. As Kabuto, with his ninja cards, captured his image. He might show this to his master as he returned back to Otogakure. On the other side, back in Konoha, Tsunade has returned, and people were overjoyed that three of the Sannins has come back to Konoha and in their forces. The village was now in process of being rebuilt. Naruto was seen as the hero, and Jiraiya along the way got a bad news about Akatsuki and his leader and his true intentions now. He wanted to collect all the bijus and overthrow all the governments. And once this was informed to Hiruzen, he called for a Kage Summit, and all the Kages were gathered. And Hiruzen took the three Sannins back with him as a sport and as well as a way to show that Konoha was strong back again. And once they saw Naruto, they were quite surprised as well to see him. And Oniki knew about him, and once he yelled Kai, he was surprised to see that it didn't do anything. Once he asked who he was, he told he was Naruto Uzumaki and the Fox Sannin, and he was back from dead. Everyone else knew Naruto, the Fox Sannin, was double S rank Shinobi, the strongest one out of all of the Sannins and most dangerous one as well. And he was back on Konoha's roster, and it didn't look he aged a single bit, which caused Mei Terumi to blush and gave him some, looks like a predator. On the other side, Kuretsuchi was also eyeing him like a meat, which was embarrassing for Naruto, seeing that he was a 50-year-old inside a 18-year-old body. But that didn't bother Jiraiya Tsunade. Back with Otogakure, once this was happening, Kabuto was finally returned to Orochimaru's side, and he informed and showed the picture that he saw of the man with two Sannins. Orochimaru, after seeing the picture, narrowed its eyes. It isn't possible for him to be back, but I just have to make sure. She got news that the Sannins and the fake Naruto were heading towards with their sensei to Iron Country, and that is where she went, inside shadows. And Once she saw the whole ordeal, she couldn't keep herself as she appeared. Everyone was on guard, and even the Kona side was on guard, but Naruto wasn't. As he got near, he hugged her. "It's good to have you back, Orochi-chan. I heard what happened. I'm sorry, and I'm quite disappointed as well, if I'm being honest." As she looked hurt. "Why? Why would you do that? Even if they were criminals, but why? I don't get it. You were the quietest and the kindest person I knew. How did you turn out like this?" "It was because I wanted to bring you back. It was because of his orders you died. It wasn't his fault that I died. He was the one who sent us there, Naruto. Don't you get it? He could have gone there by himself. He could have sent many reinforcements, but he didn't. He planned this all through," she said, looking at her sensei, who looked down in sadness. "It wasn't his fault, Orochimaru," said Jiraiya. "Yeah, we were also suffering as well, but we didn't blame Sensei for this. He died because he protected me." "Oh, don't be like that, Tsunade. I know for sure it was his fault, and you're not any innocent here either. It was your fault. You were careless. That is why he died. But I'm back now. Don't you see? You don't have to fight anymore. Please just apologize to our sensei." "I don't want to. Please. Please, honey, I know you want to." Which caused Jiraiya and Tsunade to grow a tick mark. "Honey?" And Orochimaru, well, just blushed. "Okay, I guess. But promise me you will call me that from now on, dear." "Oh, no, you don't," Jiraiya said, as she hugged Naruto's one arm, and the other was hugged by Tsunade, as Orochimaru grew 2 tick marks. These 2 bitches were ruining her moment with Naruto. "Well, calm down, girls. I'm not going anywhere." As Orochimaru hugged, "Yes, he isn't," as she kissed him. As the other girls became furious and they started to yell at each other and swear, as the Hokage sighed and said, well, they finally agreed. As they agreed to form an alliance, a masked man appeared as the girls stopped and Naruto became on guard. As he then introduced, "Hello, Hokage, Kazekage, Tsuchikage, and the rest of the Kages. And the Sannins. It's a surprise to see all 4 of you together, and alive, for some of you. The reason I'm here is to declare war on all elemental nations. My name is Madara Uchiha, and be prepared because you all are going to fall and fall hard." Well, this was it. The war was released on all of them, and they had to, well, take care of this anomaly by themselves now. "What are we going to do, Sensei? We have to return and prepare for war." And that is what they did. The rest of the villages were now being warned, and came together as they were standing in an open battlefield, facing against Akatsuki. But as they were facing, something interesting happened. Another group appeared. They were all pale, as it caused Zetsu to shiver. They were none other than Kara. They appeared because they couldn't find Jiraiya's body. They needed her body to make a perfect clone, a toy for, well, Ishiki. As he then broke the moon without the Moon Eye plan. And well, all hell broke loose. 3 of the strongest Otsuzukis were up against humans. 3, not 1. The Sannins powered up, and Naruto released a seal as other Jinchurikis also powered up. All of them then entered Baryon mode. They knew they were going to sacrifice their Bijus, but they will return, as they have said. As everyone was in their Baryon mode, from Gaara to Naruto. The Jinchurikis didn't die. They were able to prevent that. That is why the other members of Akatsuki were dead. The Akatsuki and Kara joined up, but they were being dealt with. Delta and the other guys died from Kara as Shinobi forces struck them at full force alongside with the Akatsuki members. Even Obito died and fell. Zetsu was killed off as well. The 3 Otsuzukis, well, they were hard to deal with. They were fighting against Sannins themselves. Kaguya was able to make different dimensions and was about to throw them there, but Naruto, with his Haranshin, was able to, deflect her attacks. And as for the other Otsuzukis, they were also attacking, but their attacks were deflected by Naruto. It was quite terrifying sight, 3 Otsuzukis releasing huge amount of power. And there was a white Ten-Tails, add to cherry on top. But they were able, with the help of Sage of the Sixth Spot, to seal 3 Otsuzukis back again. But not before Naruto slapped them with chakra draining seals, and a seal to enforce the Chibaku Tensei that was formed by Sayuri and Naruto Jr. Well, 3 Otsuzukis were powering their own jail, and the seal couldn't be ripped off by them, otherwise they will get shocked. But now the question arises, what will they do with the Ten-Tails? The other Ten-Tails? As Naruto had the idea. It was a stupid one, but he knew it might work. He got near the Ten-Tails as he entered the Sage mode. He gathered the Senjutsu Chakra and put a hand on the Ten-Tails and started to pump nature chakra into it. The Ten-Tails became rational and calmed down, and then licked Naruto's hand after being calm. His red eye turned blue, but still a Rinne's Sharingan. It was quite surprising, as it barked like a dog, as everyone else had a sweat drop, as Naruto then said, "Cool, I'll name you Shinju as well. That's a nice name." I was thinking of the same name though, as it growled again. "Huh, interesting, so you were being manipulated by them," as it shook his head. Everyone else was weirded out by this. Naruto has just achieved a feat that nobody else could. He tamed a Biju, or all the Bijus combined into a Ten-Tail, a mindless beast. They all saw how ferocious it was, but now it was at Naruto's feet like a lovesick puppy. As Naruto then said, "Well, you can live with me," as it then suggested, "You want me to become your Jinchuriki? Are you sure?" As it shook his head, as Naruto prepared a seal and absorbed the Ten-Tails inside of him, making him an immortal. Not only that, his skin started to turn white. His eyes got blue, but with Rinne's Sharingan in them. And he had 10 black orbs behind his back. He was now more powerful than before. As Inaryu was still there, bowed. All hail to Naruto Uzumaki, second Sage of the Sixth Spot. Everyone was surprised by this. As Naruto then said, "Eh? How come I'm the Sage of the Sixth Spot?" As then, the moon broke suddenly, as what they saw scared them. Ishiki somehow absorbed Kaguya and Momoshiki, making him King Otsutsuki with Jogan in his eyes. As he rushed back, but Naruto was still there, in his Sage mode and the Sage of the Sixth Spot mode. He was a full-grown Otsutsuki King as well. He battled with Senjutsu Chakra and Otsutsuki Chakra, with the new king Momoshiki as well. Both of them clashed. They were so ferocious that the battle shook the earth. Naruto then decided that he couldn't just seal him again, so he would tear him off his power and then destroy him completely. So with each punch, he absorbed his chakra little by little, gaining more power. Naruto at the end absorbed all of Ishiki's power. Ishiki was weakened, he was mad, his plan was gone. And Naruto then twisted his neck and caused him to disperse into ashes with a huge chakra ball that was similar to Rasengan, but it had 8 Rasengans rotating inside it. As the ball struck, it caused a huge crater in the world. It was so huge that outside from Earth you can see the attack. There was nothing left of Ishiki. He tried to give Naruto a karma, but his karma seal was destroyed by Naruto. As he looked back at everyone, his body was overpowered, so he distributed chakra back into nature, and he gave some of it to Tsunade, Orochimaru and Jiraiya, making them immortal as well. Everyone else was surprised by this, but they knew what Naruto did. Naruto wanted to live his life with them forever, and that is what he did. He gave them immortality. Time skip. Naruto was regarded as a Sage of the Sixth Spot, second, and he became sure that he kept everyone in check and kept the world at peace and running in order. And that is what he did. The Bijus, as promised, came back after 5 years or so. Naruto Jr. followed Naruto's footsteps and became the 6th Hokage. The 5th one was none other than Kakashi, and he married with Sayuri, Hinata, and Sakura as well. People who don't like Sakura, please just bear with Naruto Jr. here. Our main focus of the story is Naruto Sr., who became the second Jinchuriki of, second sage of the 6th path and Jinchuriki of the 10 Tails. What surprised Naruto was that after some time, 10 Tails was a part of him now. It was absorbed by him. It saddened him that the 10 Tail wasn't there, but suddenly a white dog materialized with one eye. It was the 10 Tails, he deciphered, and it became the eternal pet of his family. They bore many children, which were Otsutsuki as well. They changed their name to Otsutsuki because he was an Otsutsuki now. And he placed a huge seal, a barrier seal on the world that prevented any other entity from outer world to ever harm Earth. And he will be there to protect it whenever needed. Time went by. The Konoha population and the rest of the Shinobi world fell, and new modern web population came. Shinobi concept was lost in time. There were no Shinobi anymore. They were still chakra, but humans didn't use it, and slowly with time they lost its use. The world was modern, but Naruto and his family still lived, hidden from the mortal realm, but still could see everyone, and they were happy this way, and were protecting the world from other harms that might be invisible to human eye. And the Biju still lived with them in normal forms. They became mythical creatures in Chinese and Japanese mythology, but they were still there and alive and kicking. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this story off, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, guys, I'm still working on the stories, so yeah, don't worry about them, they will be coming soon. And this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.